we were very fortunate. The man was an awful stingy old guy in lots of ways, but he asked my dad if we'd enjoy the farm, because he'd let us have it rent-free for as long as we wanted. So we had a garden and everything. And we bought things like a farmer. 100-pound sacks of flour, 100-pound sacks of sugar. And we had a very good diet. Yeah. Dad loved cooking. He was a good cook.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I guess he used to cook for the railway when they were building the railway.
Yes, he
was a
did.
Cook. Yeah.
He did, and he also I guess that wasn't with the railway, but he used to get old well, there were some prospectors, but bachelors, they couldn't afford to marry, so they were in little shacks that they put up in. They were nice men, they just didn't have any money. And Dad would teach them how to bake bread or my dad was an excellent cook. Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
He loved it. I had a kind of fairy tale image of my father. He was so gentle, he never spanked us. Never once. He couldn't. Mom, well, the dickens of us. Especially me, because I was saucy with her. I'm like you, if something needs to be said, I said it. I didn't care how many whacks I got for it. I was the only one that was outspoken, and I spoke up. And yet my mother was very fond of me.
Oh.
You don't go against a child because they speak out.
No.
I never did, even when I taught them. The child that spoke out gave me an idea of how the class was going, you know. And sometimes I'd laugh and sometimes I'd scold if they got a little too fresh, but I didn't think that it was a bad thing for kids to speak out. They spoke out.
Sure, because children don't necessarily know how to communicate as tactfully as perhaps they might in the future, but they need to be able to give it a chance to learn how
they
to
told me
express themselves.
It was wrong. Don't you know Mrs. Shaw? Mrs. McCallum, such and such. You don't know that, do you? Or something like that. And teaching was such a natural progression from the farm to. And the kids, you know, the young people in the neighborhood would get together at our house or their house, and we'd make cake. And I got to be a good cake maker. And they had lots of butter and eggs and things that we wouldn't have in town. And we'd bake up a storm. Beautiful cookies and everything. We didn't need to buy anything as far as baking went.
Well, no wonder you like cakes and cookies and everything so much. Because so many wonderful, beautiful connections. Memories, yeah.
Well, I think my best memories are from the farm. And my observations of people. I was all observing. The farmer a mile and a half from us died of cancer, and he was a fairly long time. Anyway, he had it all summer, and he finally died in the winter, I think. But poor fellow, he got so he couldn't eat any food, it was possible for him to eat. He'd eat the fruit and the easier things to chew. And his wife was a hurly-burly woman. She wasn't particularly nice. He was gentle and quiet, and she was a real farm woman, you know, kind of coarse. But anyway, we'd sit and have long discussions. This farmer and I. Farmers are great philosophers. They are, and they talk to his dad a lot too. He misses the company, I'm sure, because they're a wonderful company. Oh, hiya, Bill, and gosh, he's a regular fellow there. You know, same age and so on. They're about the same age. They had they weren't all particularly lovable or anything, but it doesn't matter as long as you get along. As I'm sure he learned a lot from them too. Farming.
Appreciate every different type and sort of person and
girls, yeah. And it is a very good place to have the experience of living there. I wouldn't want to tie my whole life to farming unless I had a good income from it. You know, I'd like a nice house and things like that. But not scrubbing the floor 10 minutes before the company comes. Mom didn't give us a sou about scrubbing. Mind you, she would see the value of a nice clean house, but it couldn't worry her a bit. Things were, she didn't like it untidy, but I used to scrub floors from a small child. Well, not small. I'd be about 11 maybe. And scrub the daylights out of something. I could make it nice and clean. But I was like a little farmer's wife myself. And I baked my first cake when I was 13, I guess. I waited a while for it. But I learned meal making and cakes and cookies and even a little canning. She used to get some jars from the store. You got them in big packages, you know,
Right.
3 dozen or whatever, all different things, and she'd fill them for the winter. That was nice.